Hi there everybody, this is David, and I really was the first one to say that August was a desert, that there was really nothing going on RPG-wise this month until Visions of Mana, but mea culpa! I was wrong, because Elrentaros Wanderings, also known as Rear Sakai in Japan, is releasing on August 16th digitally and then physically later on in October for the Nintendo Switch, and it's definitely a really sweet hidden gem that I do think that you're going to enjoy. And in this review sponsored by Red Art Games, I just want to tell you all about it. And I do think that is worth a sub as I try my hardest to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your help, your like, and your sub, I do think that I can get there. So thank you so much for that. And now, let me tell you all about this cozy Rune Factory meets Dynasty Warriors conglomeration that's just a whole lot of fun. The first thing that I'm going to say about this is don't judge a book by its cover. Because if you do, you're going to be missing out on something special. Right from the get-go, you have a choice between playing as either a boy or a girl, and you can choose between easy, normal, or hard difficulty modes. Unfortunately, there is no English voice acting option, it is all in Japanese, and the dialogue is presented in a visual novel format. So let's get on into this story, because that's a big portion of the game. You begin by running away from an unknown assailant only to trip over a mysterious mirror, and then you find yourself outside of Elrentaros, a small hinterland town far from civilization. And it's here that your adventure truly takes place. This town is chock full of colorful characters, each with their own backstories and motivations. And of all the different townsfolk, there are 10 special partner characters who you can form bonds with. And I am so happy to tell you that even though I chose a male hero, I was still able to bond with the hottest guy in town. Although I will say his brother also gave him a run for his money. Well, really, to be honest, pretty much all of the romanceable guys are just super hot, but whatever! Let's get back to the story. Apparently the mirror that you tripped over has the power to show the truth and expose lies. But the mirror is damaged and is missing some gems. And each time though that you dive into a dungeon and you defeat the boss, a new gem will magically appear in the mirror, powering it up and allowing it to illuminate more hidden entrances to otherwise unseen dungeons. So it's your job to help out the townsfolk, power up this mirror, and then dive deep into the dungeons and also get to the bottom of the mysteries of this world, or, multiple worlds, I really should say. Because it seems that every time that you go to bed, you wake up in like a modern day classroom, where the villagers are now your classmates, your friends, your bullies, or even your teachers. So maybe by powering up this mirror over in the alternate world, you'll be able to reveal the truth of the real world. Now, that's it for the story, so let's dive into the main meat of the game, the gameplay, and the dungeon crawling, which really reminds me of last year's dungeon crawling hidden gem Silent Hope. But while there you had to switch your hero around constantly to use the different skills and the weapons, here your one hero is able to equip whatever weapon you would like. And there's two different types of dungeons. The Lost Dungeons, which have been around since ancient times, and then the Perilous Ark Dungeons, that only emerged in recent years. And once you enter a dungeon, you cannot leave until you defeat the boss, or you quit and you go on back to town. Before you do begin though, you are told what the challenge level of the dungeon is, as well as what equipment and what rewards you can get for the various missions as well. Unfortunately though, you're not told what the actual missions are, and the missions are how you progress through the game. So your first time through the dungeon, you kind of have to go in blind and use the hope and pray method that you fulfill those missions. Whereas the second time through, you will know exactly what those missions are, so it is quite the breeze to complete them. Once inside the dungeons, you can just hold down the attack button to do a series of combos based upon your weapon type. You can also evade and use magical items like potions to heal or magical spells too. But these all have a small recast time period or cooldown before you can use them again. But let me tell you right now how nice it is that you don't have to constantly be mashing that attack button. You just have to hold it down to do the combos. This is great for an older gamer like me because, as I said before, I do have some arthritis in my thumbs, so little things like that really do help me out. After the defeating of the monsters, you'll get little bonuses and items too, like maybe your movement speed will go up, or you'll get some extra regeneration or more attack power. And while it does start off simple enough, pretty soon you are going to be getting overwhelmed with the sheer amount of enemies, making this almost feel like an anime meets Rune Factory meets Dynasty Warriors type of thing. As you go out exploring, you'll find various treasure chests, and monsters will also drop equipment. And this here is really how you'll level up, because you don't level up by experience points or how many enemies that you fought. It is all about your equipment level. And the higher equipment level that you have, the better off that you'll be, and the deeper that you will delve into the dungeons to get better and better equipment. Though you can only equip your new weapons and armor outside of battle and in town. Each piece of equipment though does have the associated level, as well as all sorts of different cool abilities and status effects that it can inflict, and even more abilities that you can awaken. Awakening these various skills does cost gold, and you can't awaken all of the skills on the equipment. You're limited by the amount of awakening stars that it has. So let's say for example that a piece of equipment has a 3-star ranking. You're then able to awaken one 1-star ability and also one 2-star ability, equaling 3 total stars. Or, you could just awaken one 3-star ability if that makes sense. And if your equipment level is low and you're going into a high level dungeon, awakening is going to be the difference between life and death. As you continue to explore the dungeons, you'll find treasure chests, traps, and even warp points. Though these are some super secret things to find and they are special. But once you do unlock them, you're going to be warped over to a treasure room. And there, you'll find what can only be described as like the metal slimes of the game, as they now run away from you constantly. But if you do kill them, they will drop some supremely powerful equipment. So you're definitely going to want to get them if you can. Sometimes you'll also encounter trap rooms, where you have to defeat all the enemies in order to move on. And then after 10 or so floors of each dungeon, it'll culminate in a boss fight. And these can be very hard, so do be prepared. If you're not good at the dodging, or you don't have the correct batch of spells or healing potions, then you could be dead with the quickness. Once you do clear out the dungeon though, you'll get all the equipment that you acquired from it, as well as all your gold rewards and your mission rewards. And then it's back on into town to help out and deepen your bonds with the various townsfolk. But not only will the bonding with characters help you learn more about them, but giving gifts to them will also unlock useful passive abilities that you can then equip in combat, kind of like an accessory. And these things will give you extra attack power or more HP or just whatever. Just as in real life though, you do need to be spending some time getting to know these characters before you just start handing them out gifts willy-nilly. And the game kind of like spoon feeds these gifts to you by having them cost gift coins. And there's only a few ways that you can grab these gift coins. The first is by planting seeds that you'll find scattered throughout the world and then harvesting them once they turn into full-fledged crops. The second way though is to complete various missions in the dungeons. So both the town portion and the dungeon portion are equally important here, as you have to talk to the NPCs to see what their problems are to help them out, and once you do that, your mirror will power up and a new dungeon or area will appear that you can explore. And that there is essentially the main gameplay loop. And while it does sound simplistic, it is ingenious. And it's actually a really cool game, and I must say I was thoroughly impressed by it. So please again, do not judge a book by its cover, because this is actually extraordinarily fun and strangely addicting too. So that's it from our review of Elrentaros Wanderings for the Nintendo Switch. And until August 22nd, if you order it digitally over on the eShop, you will save 20% off. But don't forget that the physical edition is also coming up in October too. So if you would like that, please be sure to use all the links below to purchase it and support some under-the-radar hidden gem RPGs, because I just know that you will love it. Let me know how you feel about the game in the comments, let's all talk and chat about it, and as always, have a good day.